AI tools have made it super easy to create coloring books. I mean, I have made several with AI myself, but here's the thing. You don't always need AI to create a beautiful coloring book for Amazon KDP, even if you are not an artist. And those some AI tools are really good. I mean, I've made videos about a few that really produce clean, usable line art. A lot of others still struggle, the distorted faces, multiple fingers, random grayscales, or just funny looking images. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create those clean, hand-drawn style coloring books without using AI. Now, AI is great, don't get me wrong, but not everybody loves its imperfections or its learning curve, particularly with some AI tools that are still struggling with delivering super clean line arts. And some creators actually do prefer authentic artist-drawn look that are similar to the likes of Coco Wayo and Jade Summer. Just as you can see here, this is Coco Wayo, this is Jade Summer, and the way it is, you can tell that these are hand-drawn. Now, non-AI coloring book often stand out for being more consistent, balanced, and clean in terms of the images. Now, this particular route gives you complete control from the art style to the line thickness to the book's overall mood, whether it's the tiniest detail you want. For example, you can see the spill on the hand of the cute animal to the spill of the food on the table, the tiniest detail, everything you are able to control. Another typical example is Jade Summer. You can see from the look of the images, you can tell that they are hand-drawn. And some really good advantages to leveraging hand-drawn images is that, of course, you're able to get crisp outlines, no grayscale tones, because this is something that was actually drawn by hand. You're also able to get like simplicity in the images. You can see the images, even though they have a lot of details, you can still tell the simplicity in the details and of course the age appropriateness. Now, with all that is said, you do not actually need to draw, because if you are wondering, I'm not an artist, I'm not a good illustrator, how do I get this unique hand-drawn style coloring images for my coloring book? You don't have to be an artist, you don't need to know how to draw. What you want to do is you can hire someone. And one easy way to do that is you can hire an illustrator freelancer on Fiverr. Now, just hold on as I'm going to be explaining in detail how you can make this work. The first thing, of course, before you head to Fiverr to search your illustrator freelancer, you want to go to Amazon. Now, we've already determined that we want a hand-drawn look. We also want to determine in terms of the page count. What are the kind of page counts people are going for? For example, you can see this bestseller. You can see this is 40 hand-drawn pages. So that makes the whole print length 88 pages, since the back of each page is going to be blank. Again, if we go to another one, you can see 40 unique images. If you go to another one here, this is Spooky Cutie by Coco Wayo. This is also 40 hand-drawn pages, and this is as well a bestseller. So you can tell that, okay, 40 hand-drawn pages is like a very good standard. So before you go over to Fiverr to find an illustrator, you should have your book specification based on the typical demand from customers. Another thing you want to do is you want to understand what is actually selling with regards to hand-drawn style coloring book. And one easy way to do that is by heading over to Amazon. And if you scroll to Amazon and you just simply filter by bestsellers under the coloring books, you are going to be able to see, you can see Spooky Cutie. This is, of course, around the Halloween time. So a lot of people are going to be wanting to buy this. If we also scroll down, you can see Stress Relief, which is more like relaxation kind of coloring books, which you can tell that is something people actually want to go for. Again, if you scroll down, you can see Cozy kind of coloring book. Here is also more like a cozy kind of coloring book. You can see Cute and Cozy. If you also scroll down here, you can see for relaxation, cozy spaces. And just like that, if you keep scrolling down, you're going to be able to see patterns in terms of these books that are actually selling well, what unique feature they have that you may want to use for your book. Another way to do that is by scrolling all the way to the reviews. In the reviews, you're going to be able to see what customers have to say. So if we filter by the 5-star reviews, you want to see what they have to say in terms of the coloring book. So you can see adorable pages full of cute, cozy characters. So you can tell that customers love such cute, cozy characters, which is something that you want to take note of. Again, if you scroll down, you can see cute animal characters. So they love that the animals are not just cozy, but they are cute animals. So you may want to create cute animal-like cozy characters, then of course you can now decide on the theme, whether you want it to be like a kind of friendship, kind of cozy-like theme, or you want it to be seasonal themed, whether it's Christmas, Easter, whatever you're going for, or whether it's just, you know, a relaxation theme, probably vacation, whatever it is. So you want to go and determine your book specification, because that is exactly what you're going to be telling the illustrator. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to head over to Fiverr. Now, you can simply search for probably coloring book, illustrator, and enter. And you're going to be able to see a lot of gigs under that. If you're not okay with what you see, you can go ahead and research for something else, probably just coloring book. You're going to see others here. You can also search for bold and easy coloring book. This one is actually much closer to the kind of hand-drawn style you're going to be able to see. So we're going to look for bold and easy coloring book. So if you look at it, you can see a lot of hand-drawn images here, so which is closer to what you want. You can also check for Ukuwayo style coloring book, kids coloring book artist, just any keyword that, you know, really relates to what you're actually looking for. Now, before you actually go ahead to just pick any gig and start creating, there are a few things you should look out for. So one thing you want to do is you want to always message first. You don't just want to go ahead and pay for the gig. I would not really advise that, so that you can even know if this freelancer is actually available to take the job. And two, if the freelancer is able to understand and deliver on the job. Another thing that you want to ask for is you want to ask for test samples, because you want to see what the illustrator has actually done in the past. So you want to check how well his hand-drawn style is, how well the detail is. For example, if you look at this, you can see I would draw bold, easy, cute coloring pages, and you can see some of the coloring images that are here. Again, you want to also request that they give you the commercial rights for publishing, meaning that as they are creating this image, the images belong 100% for you. They cannot use those images elsewhere as their own, because it has become your own, because that's exactly what you want. You want your published coloring images to belong to you. Thirdly, you want to do a few samples first. So if you are testing a new freelancer, for example, maybe this person, because you can see this person pretty much does a good job based on what she has uploaded here. So if you're doing probably like a set of coloring images with this person, and you actually have in mind to do 40 coloring images, I would suggest that it's best to start with a few test pages. This is for you to understand the actual quality the person will deliver, and if it's something that you like in terms of the person's creativity. Another thing you want to look at is your budget. You want to be sure that the freelancer is someone you can actually afford. So you can see this gig here. There's the basic, simple, bold, easy for $5, which is pretty much like very affordable. Then there's the standard, something more detailed for $10. Then the premium for $15. There are actually a lot others also. You can see this person for basic. You can see 3 pages plus 1, up to 3 characters, medium detail, charming scenes for $25. You can see the standard is 10 pages plus 1. Then up to 3 characters, medium details, $75. And of course, the premium 20 pages bonus for $145. So that way you can actually compare and contrast to see which one is most appropriate for you in terms of the quality and the quantity based on your budget and preferences. I do have a few of these freelancers I've actually checked out, and you can see their works are pretty much cool, and of course 100% hand-drawn Ukuwayo style. I'm going to be leaving a link to some of them in the description, so you can click the link and check them out. But do note that these are freelancers that I researched to check their gigs. I have not actually used them, so you may also want to go and message them and of course see the quality of images that they can deliver to be sure that it aligns with your preferences. Now, another thing that is super important is that you want to check their reviews. So you can see this person has 5-star reviews from 18 reviews. Of course, not everybody leaves reviews, but we want to go for the ones that have at least 3+ reviews that are, of course, really good, because that way you can tell that people have actually used this person and the person delivered a solid job. Now, once you've done all that and your coloring pages are actually ready, the next thing you want to do is you want to then go ahead and collate those pages, and you can leverage Canva. Now, typically for this kind of hand-drawn images. Most of these authors actually use a book dimension of 8.5 by 8.5 because that's like what a lot of customers have resonated with over time. So now you want to head to Amazon KDP Help Topics and you want to go to format your paperback, and you've decided your page count and everything. Then you want to go to paperback and click select trim size, bleed and margin. We already know that our page dimension is 8.5 by 8.5. However, we want to determine the actual page size we're going to be imputing, because for most of these kind of hand-drawn styles, they leverage bleed. So if you're leveraging bleed, you want to go and see the page size that you would use with bleed. So for a typical 8.5 by 8.5 dimension over here, this is the actual page size to use when you are incorporating bleed. So you head to Canva, you click the plus icon here, you select custom size, you change the units to inches, you impute the width and as well as the height, and you create a new design. So now Canva has given us our page size with bleed. Next thing is we want to determine the margins and we want to set that up. So we'll scroll down back in Amazon KDP Help Topics. The margin actually is determined based on the page count, and for your page count, you want to determine that ahead of time. Let's assume that the page count falls between 24 to 150 pages, like a lot of them do. This is going to be the inside margin, which is 0.375, and the outside margin with bleed is going to be as well 0.375. And we're going to go back in Canva and of course add that. So when you go back in Canva, you want to go ahead and have your rulers and guides set up. If you don't have this, you can simply use the Shift plus R to add or remove that. Alternatively, you can go to File, go to Settings and click Show Rulers and Guide. So now that we have our rulers all showing, the next thing is we want to set our margins, which is 0.375. So we can pull this one down over here until we get 0.375. Now, I got 0.380. You may not be able to exactly get that actual number. So it's always suggested that you use the number closest to it, and it is better more. So a higher number than using a lesser number. Now I'm going to do for the other one as well. For this one, I got 0.376, which is pretty much very close. Now, to be able to get the other side, I can bring in a shape under elements. I'm going to be using a square shape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this square shape over here so that I can align it with where these two red lines meet. The moment you see those two, you can see the numbers showing. That means it's a perfect fit. Now, I'm going to duplicate it and bring it all the way down. Now I have it on the other edge here. I can now pull the ruler down to meet the top of it, and this side ruler again to meet the side of it. Once all that is said and done, I can delete the boxes because there's no longer any need for it. Now you can then duplicate the pages. Once you have fixed your margins, you duplicate the pages by clicking this duplicate page icon until you are able to get the number of page count that you want. Whether it's 80 pages, 88 pages, 90 pages, 70 pages, whatever it may be. You can also use the grid view to make that faster by just simply copying and duplicating them multiple times. Once you have gotten your illustration pages from your freelancers, and of course it's what you want, you can then upload them to Canva and start adding it. So I actually went to one of this freelancers page and I just, got a few images just for us to be able to understand how it works. I'm not taking any ownership of the image, but just to understand how it actually works. So I downloaded just one just to show you how it is. So if peradventure this is your image here, and you may just want to fill it up to the end of the screen. You want to make sure that it doesn't exceed these bleed lines that you've created. So take for example, we can have it over here. We can pull this all the way down. So that way it meets the end part of the bleed and it doesn't exceed any of the bleed lines. And this is how you're going to keep adding them. So you may want to leave a blank page because the blank page signifies that this is the back of this page. And typically, most authors do not add anything at the back page just to avoid any form of bleed through. So this is how you want to keep aligning all of your coloring images. And after which, of course, you want to upload to Amazon KDP, choose your paperback, and of course, just fill in the necessary details optimize for keywords so that your book can be able to come up when people are searching some specific keywords in relation to your book. Now for this, you can actually use AI to generate rough draft, probably to show your illustrator based on what you want or an idea you want, so that your illustrator can now actually transform that into hand-drawn style. So that way it also saves time, it saves multiple corrections, it helps maintain consistency and still gives you high quality results. Now once you are done with collating or getting all of your coloring pages, I always advise that you also use the same illustrator in getting your coloring book cover, since the coloring book cover is usually just typically a page in the coloring book that was actually colored to ensure thorough consistency. Again, like I said, I've left a bunch of illustrators that I've actually well researched in terms of their deliverables in the description, so you want to go ahead, click any of the links to check any of them out. Now this is like for the manual route, that is perfect for creators who really value hand-drawn aesthetic. But if you prefer the AI method, because there are a lot of AI tools that are coming up right now that can create really good sellable KDP images, so if you prefer the AI method where you're able to do it yourself, give it the prompt yourself, I'm going to be showing you how you can create a simple KDP coloring book with AI. I'll walk you through how you can create high quality coloring images using a unique AI tool, including the creation of the cover page. So if that interests you, want to click the video you see on your screen right now to check out that tutorial. Ciao.